It's the politics of the protest. President Trump has taken a law and order stance and even said on Twitter that his Democratic challenger supports defunding police departments. On Sunday morning, the president tweeted, "Sleepy Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats want to defund the police. I want great and well-paid law enforcement. I want law and order," end quote. We're here to talk about all this is Travis County GOP Chairman Matt Mackowiak and Democratic strategist Joe Deshotel. Thank you both for being here. Matt Mackowiak, let me start with you. What do you think about the president's approach?
Well, I do think there is overwhelming opposition around the country for any effort to defund or unfund police departments. Even if Vice President Biden's campaign released a statement saying he opposes it, number one, we'd like to hear that directly from him. And number two, I mean, the bigger issue is that you do have Democrats across the country, both at the federal level and at the state and city level, who support this. And this is not just a radical idea. It's one that's being put into practice. Minneapolis decided to disband their police department and create something new called through community policing. Los Angeles, their mayor, with the endorsement of VP contender and U.S. Senator Kamala Harris, just cut $150 million from their police budget. Austin is considering cutting at least $100 million from its police budget. The list goes on and on and on. I wish we would talk about the sensible reforms that would make a difference, not ridiculous proposals like cutting spending on police, which would only make our cities less safe and vulnerable populations less safe with higher crime.
Well, Joe, talking about the politics here, as Matt mentioned, a spokesperson says that the former VP is against defunding police departments. Even if he's against it, could this movement hurt him in November?
Well, it's actually interesting to hear Republicans being against budget cuts. I didn't think I'd ever hear that. But what we're really actually talking about doing is reimagining public safety. I mean, the problem is that we tried to solve every single issue through policing, and all it's led to is mass incarceration and now civil unrest. Whether it's addiction, call the police. Homelessness, call the police. Truancy, call the police. So we really need to focus on demilitarizing the police. They aren't trained to deal with a lot of these issues, and that's what we're talking about, refocusing that money in the budget for things like healthcare, housing, food insecurity, education, to the people that are actually trained to deal with these issues. And so, you look at Austin's budget, it's $500 million for police, 40 cents on every dollar is spent on policing. And, as the old adage goes, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So we've over-policed. We need to find a different way to deal with our social issues. I think Americans are listening right now. They've never been more open to hearing a message like this than they ever have. We said Black Lives Matter, and for years people ignored it. Now they're listening, and so they want to know what the solution is, and we're telling you what the solution is. It's to reallocate those funds to people that are trained to handle these social issues.